Hey, Walt here from WaltandPA.com as well as StogieReview.com with another Shooting the Breeze video and another video based on guns. And this time around, I want to talk about targets. And basically what this boils down to is I'm a bit of a cheapskate. When it comes to targets, I don't like buying my own. I really prefer printing my own. And I know what you're thinking. Well, Walt, why would you print your own? Ultimately, in the long run, you're going to pay more for your targets if you print them rather than just go out and order them online or pick them up in store, because they can be very inexpensive and you can get bulk packages of targets, and they're pennies a sheet depending on what you buy. And the reason being is I just prefer having the option to instantly print targets and keep them on hand without needing to go to my wallet every time I need targets or every time I need to restock on targets. So while it may be a little more expensive, it's more of a deferred cost. Now, generally what I do for just general purpose targets is I go online and I look up some stuff in 8.5 by 11, just letter size stuff. And because I have a laser jet at home, I can run off 20-30 pages and not use up a ton of toner, and I don't feel so bad because I'm not replacing ink cartridges constantly. But I try to print targets that aren't like solid black, to save on toner a bit. But this is kind of like a recurring thing for me. I print some targets off, I stick them in my range bag, or I put them in a book that I just put together. And I'll show you that. Actually, I'll probably cover this more in depth in a future video. But anyway, I've got just a typical binder, 3-ring binder, and what I like to do is print off shooting drills and put them in my binder. And a lot of these came from pistoltraining.com, and I'll put a sheet protector on them so that I can take them to the range and I don't have to worry about them getting all shredded and nasty. And I've got just a bunch of shooting drills, and in the case of some of these, there are target diagrams, which I'll then reference to targets that I keep on hand. And in this case, in the back of the book, I've got my good targets. These are the ones I make copies of, and then I'll take those copies and I'll stick them in the front of the book where I've got a whole stack, and then I'll use them as I need to. They're not the cool targets that show your shots and change colors and things like that, but I figure since I'm just blowing holes in the targets, this is more than fine. This is good enough. But with me wanting to get into IDPA and USPSA, I was put in a position where I really couldn't print off a lot of stuff. Now, where I work, I'm a draftsman by trade. We have a large format plotter, and what I'll do is when we get down to it, we print architectural drawings and stuff on large rolls, either 36-inch wide rolls or 42-inch wide rolls, and these rolls are generally 150 feet long. And as the rolls wind down, if I've got like 6 or 10 feet left on the roll, rather than deal with that page curling up and try to get 1 or 2 architectural prints on it, a lot of times I'll just print off a target to take to the range. It doesn't use up too much ink because the IDPA targets and stuff like that, or just the torso targets that I'm doing are just a black line, and I kind of stock those up and take them to the range as a way to save a little bit of money too. But when it came to IDPA targets, I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do, because I didn't want to run to the gun shop, which is a half an hour away, and purchase targets for $2 or $3 a piece, whatever they are. And I really didn't want to order them online, because all they are is just a cardboard cutout with a light perforation in them to show the scoring zones. So I thought, well, what are my options here? Finding an actual full-size IDPA target was a bit of a problem. I really had difficulty doing that. So what I wound up doing was, instead of going to the gun shop and buying one and using that one target as a template to make more, which probably would have been the easiest thing to do, I spent my lunch break just drafting out an IDPA target. So what I did was I imported the third scale IDPA target that's fairly common, which fits on an 11 by 7 or 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and I traced over it in AutoCAD to make my shape, get my scoring zones, and then I scaled it up full size, which I think is like 18 inches wide by 30, I believe. And then I sort of tweaked the lines till they made sense, because when you're tracing over a PDF, the lines are really fat and the lines in AutoCAD are really thin, so you can't get, you know, perfection out of just a PDF that came off the internet. So what I ended up with was an AutoCAD file which had a full-size IDPA target, which was close enough, you know, to the actual target where I was okay with the little bit of variation in which it was off. And then I took that drawing, I put some dimensions on it in case anyone ever wants it. You can download it on my personal blog below this post, or, yeah, below the video, and or above the video, probably above the video. But at any rate, I made this template, so to speak, so that I could actually lay a target out on a sheet of cardboard or a sheet of MDF or something, and then cut it out and make a template to drop on another piece of cardboard and go from there. But being that I work in a wood shop, the easiest thing for me to do was to plug those dimensions into a CNC machine and have a machine do everything for me. And what I did was I took a piece of MDF, a piece of quarter-inch MDF, and I made, can't see it, an IDPA target, which is rigid. It's quarter-inch hardboard, and cut out the shape as per the dimensions that I was able to gather. And here you can see the scoring zones I cut through but left some space so that the piece didn't fall out. And that is essentially my IDPA template. And now what I do is I take this template and I drop it onto a piece of cardboard. I use a permanent marker like a Sharpie to go around the outside to mark my target, and then on the inside I just use a pen or a pencil, and it creates light lines, because I really don't, I want it to mimic a real IDPA target so that I can't really see the scoring zones when I'm back a few yards, so I can just sort of mark them. And as you can see, they don't touch, you know, because the piece would have fell out if I'd have cut all the way through, all the way around. So, you know, I'll score a line, or I'll mark a line, mark a line, mark a line. I won't bother joining them or anything. It's close enough for what I'm doing. And basically I've got a cheap way to make close enough IDPA targets. I'm also doing the same thing for USPSA targets. But as a homeowner that's doing repairs here and there, and a father, I have tons of cardboard coming through the house. Whether it's my daughter needing a new car seat and I've got this giant box that I can cut up and make targets out of, or my water heater went a couple of months ago, I've got a giant water heater box that I can cut up and make targets out of. Or just, you know, simple things like, I don't know if a box of diapers would actually open up large enough, but, you know, I've constantly got cardboard coming in the house that I would otherwise cut up and bundle up to put out with my recycling. Whereas now I can just sort of turn them into targets, and and there really is no expense at that point. I'm just sort of cutting them out, marking them, and I'm good to go. So, there's my cheapskate method of making IDPA targets, and you got a little look at a book that I started putting together, which I'll cover in more depth later on, what exactly I was thinking and what I managed to do. But essentially, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the IDPA target that I made, and the dimension version of that target is available as a PDF in the blog post on waltonpa.com. which you can print out on 8.5 by 11 and then lay out your own target if you like, and create a template of your own. And there's also a full-size IDPA PDF available on 24 by 36 inch paper. And the reason I did that was just because I had so much difficulty finding a full-size IDPA target. You know, everything I found was scaled. So I took what I have and I just laid it out full size on a PDF, so that if you have a large format plotter or you want to go to Kinko's or something and have them printed out, you can do that too. But that's all I've got for you in this edition of Shooting the Breeze. So until next time, happy smoking, happy shooting, and I will catch you later.